Hey there, Internet friends. Welcome to another episode of That Nerdy Site Show, a weekly podcast where the team members from That Nerdy Site get together to talk about all of our lives and all of the nerdy things that we love about. Joining me, Logan Wilkinson, hi, I'm not sure Starkey, this week is one, these names are wrong, the Dr. Trevor gave me, is Frank, and I had Christian.
Hello.
Not Christian and Cameron. Don't pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, so if you enjoy what you hear, please remember to like, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast any and everywhere you can. We're now live on iTunes and everywhere else. If you're feeling extra generous, you can support us on patreon.com/thatnerdysite, like all of the wonderful people have over there. And there are no new patrons, but I think we might have a Patreon producer. If not, add this out, James L. and Jason Bellevue. If not, never mind. This is a very special episode of That Nerdy Site Show. The very first of its kind, in fact, I would say, Frank and Christian. We are just doing the entire episode around one single topic, a spoilercast, if you will, over a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which we all literally just walked out of and are now talking about. I don't know what...
We are in the parking lot.
We are in the parking lot right now. If there are cars whizzing by, just ignore it.
We didn't get to have that moment because of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody just was silent as we all left the theater and got in our vehicles.
I literally don't know what Christian Frank's thoughts are at all. We've not said a single word about it. So, spoiler-free first. We'll go Christian. What did you think of Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
It was a fun, cute little movie. It was cute. I feel like I'm maybe not exactly the target demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I would say we all aren't. Maybe we are because we like games.
Like, I feel like I half am and half not because, like, I half really liked it and half didn't. But when I say didn't, I meant, like, half of it did feel like I was really enjoying it, and the other half felt like a younger version of me. Enjoyed it.
Yeah. Definitely, even within the theater, the demographic age was skewed younger, I would say for sure.
That they also got all the laughs like out of like the kids in the audience. Like less than half the theater was probably kids, maybe like half the theater, but that's where all the enjoyment came from. It seemed like.
Frank, what did you think of the movie? Spoiler free.
I mean, it's not like a bad movie, honestly. Yeah. And like, I wonder how much the redesign actually like helped improve it. I think it probably did a lot for the movie.
Yeah,
I think it would have been worse with the other design. Honestly, even same exact movie, just change out the Sonics. I think it's a worse movie.
I get. Occasionally, I would try to, in my mind's eye, imagine what the scenes were like with the original Sonic design, but. Pretty early on, I was like, I don't even want to think about it anymore. It was so bad.
But it's like I'm very hesitant to say it's a good movie. I just like, but it's definitely not bad.
It's a good movie for someone out there.
Yeah, like the kid, like for kids, I would assume it's probably great. Mm-hmm. Like it's probably the best video game movie.
That's the thing. Yeah,
I kind of want to even just say probably at least that I've seen.
I was trying. This is Sonic Day, so everybody's been seeing Sonic, putting out their impressions and stuff, and I think even the voice actor Ben Schwartz said, like, he was like, hey, I think this is, like, the best video game movie ever, and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, coming out of the theater, I was trying to think to myself, I was like, can I say if there's another video game movie that I enjoy?
Lara Croft, right, is one that gets brought up a lot.
I really liked those movies. I don't want to revisit them, but at the time, I really liked those movies.
They didn't really do it for me.
James Bond is in the second one.
That's true, he is. He sure is. He dies and gets brought back to life. Spoiler for a 15-year-old movie. Yeah.
Well, was that one called The Book of Life or The Cradle of Life?
I think it's The Cradle of Life. That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
The second one's bad.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like I like the movie the most.
Cool.
Because I would say I
That's
think the movie is good.
I wanted to go into... I went into this movie wanting to like it. I think people... some people go in really cynical, like, oh, I can't wait to trash this or that. And I was like... Don't get me wrong. If this had been the same design, then I would have gone like that.
Yeah.
But I was completely turned around by the new design, and so I went in wanting to really enjoy it, and I mostly enjoyed it. But I accidentally stole it.
No, you're totally fine. Like I think for me to think like, I mean, is the movie The Godfather or like Parasite? No, but like I definitely think the movie's fun, right? And like I think this kind of movie, it's just trying to be. It's a fun movie, trying to make Sonic entertaining, right? And like I was entertained. Like there are moments as we'll get to when we get into the spoiler section, but like that didn't land as much. But like I laughed at this movie, and like I was pleasantly like entertained and happy throughout. Like to Christian's point, like I don't know, and Frank kind of said too, like I don't know if I can think of a better video game movie than this, right? Like like for me it wasn't Lara Croft. Like I loved the '90s Mortal Kombat movie.
I was gonna say
that movie's bad. That movie's not good.
That movie rules.
That movie's not. That's the thing. Like that movie's not good, right? And that's the thing. Like I think certainly from a.
I still really like it though.
Yeah, for sure. Like we'll do that. That'll be the next Spoilercast review of just 1994's Mortal Kombat. But
I love that movie.
But like, I think definitely from like a budget perspective, this feels like it is the most well-made video game movie I've ever seen. Right? Like it just feels like it is like a well-made movie from like a technical level and a production level, and like even like an acting and writing level. Like James Marsden and Jim Carrey like are given good performances. Where it's like like they're committed to like. What they're supposed to... Jim Carrey in particular, like, is just committed to being like, I'm gonna be fucking Jim Carrey ridiculous as shit, and like, I think more often than not works for me.
Yeah.
I think he's very funny.
I liked his assistant too.
Yes,
like, they have like a whole relationship.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Even Stone, yeah.
And like, I don't know, like, I think for me, like, it is more successful at like being a movie than Mortal Kombat or what I think heard the best one before this Lara Croft is, I think.
It is it's a super cookie cutter, like, kids movie adventure.
Maybe.
Kind of obvious. It's like reminiscent of almost like E.T.
Sure.
Or it definitely reminds me of that James Marsden movie with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Like, I know people were making comparisons to that because that's basically the same.
I saw somebody make a comparison to E.T. and I think there are definitely vibes to that for sure.
But like, I feel like as like to go with Sonic, I feel like they actually really kind of nailed like Sonic, and that maybe that was in like the redesigns.
Yeah.
But, like, because not only, I don't want to get into too many spoiler stuff, but there's just a lot of like Sonic moments, and he does a lot of like Sonic things, and I'm just like, I was kind of impressed, like. Going back to how this is like probably the best game movie, they really adapted Sonic into this cookie cutter like kind of thing.
I think that's 100% what it is for me. Like there are definitely elements of this movie that are a cookie cutter, your classic kind of kids movie. But I think where it comes alive is the fact that like Sonic is like he's Sonic. Like this thing, like if you've ever played a Sonic game before, like or just seen the character, it's like this is him. And like they nail, I think, that character so well. And like I think. For me too, like they nail kind of the absurdity of like Dr. Robotnik, just like as it, like a person, because like he's this big scary guy in the game, but it's like when you really peel back, it's like he's just fucking ridiculous. Like he's like in the actual world, like he's just such a weirdo, and like they make fun of that and point that out, and it's like really well. And
they're like, please don't bring him.
Yeah, please don't bring him back. Yeah,
like,
and they're like, no, like he's gonna, and then like I don't even know who you're talking about at the end of the movie. It's like I think. Nailing Sonic as well as they did, right? And like in terms of like the design, but also just in terms of like who that character is and Ben Schwartz's performance, like I don't know, like I think that's what elevates it to me above like Mortal Kombat, which didn't really nail the characters that well. And like Lara Croft counted it, but like you didn't really get you got the action here part of her, but not the like explorer part of her. I feel like in her movies, and this one is like this is Sonic, like this is just who this character is. He's like goofy and silly and over the top. Me and Frank each kind of like mentioned spoilers, so we'll just give like final quick fire impressions. Like Christian, would you recommend seeing Sonic?
Yeah, it's worth checking out. I would. Yeah,
Frank.
If you love Sonic or like you need a family movie to watch, I would definitely say go for it because there's worse out there.
Yeah,
but I mean that if you're not in those demos, I don't know if like it's for you.
I think it's fun. Like I think it's a fun movie. I think if you like, this is definitely a movie that you'll enjoy yourself. But we're going to get into spoilers now, so if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled on Sonic the Hedgehog, God help you, but also stop listening and come back after the fact.
I feel like there's only minimal things to spoil.
That's the thing. That's what I'm like. So like, but like we're diving into spoilers now. So like Sonic the Hedgehog is a full motion picture film.
Yeah.
I think the biggest spoiler thing right off the bat, we're just going right into the heavy hitter, is the mid-credits Tails.
Yeah, so actually I was telling Christian, the only thing we were trying to keep quiet, obviously, because we were going to record this.
Yeah.
The only thing I was telling him is that I won a bet now because I was like, Tails is going to show up at the end, like post-credits. And somebody was like, no, they're not. And I was like, money on it. Like, Tails is going to be there. And as soon as he pops out of that fucking ring, I was like, yes.
For me, it was a thing like, I saw on Twitter, I think today, somehow I get fucking Sonic spoilers being thrown on the timeline.
Yeah.
And it was just like, stick around for the mid-credit sequence. And I was like, all right, cool. There are a few different things that can mean in a Sonic movie, but the big one to me was that it's either going to be Tails or it's going to be Knuckles. And I didn't know which one to expect. And I was like, who is it going to be? Because it's going to be, if you're going to bring in like a Sonic classic character, it'll be Tails or Knuckles. And I was like, all right, cool, which one is it going to be? So it's more a game of like, which are they going to pick kind of thing.
We got to establish the cinematic universe.
Dude, that's the thing. Like, I am so down for a Sonic cinematic universe. Like, give me the Sonic trilogy, bringing in Tails, bringing in Knuckles.
Rouge the Bat.
Rouge the Bat, absolutely, Frank. Like, it's going to be great.
Big the Cat.
Frank gets it. Frank is a big Sonic guy, too, guys. Here's the thing. It's going to be lit. And so, like, it was cool. Like, also, can we talk about, like, Tails' design? So good.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
I wonder.
It's so good.
So
like,
they had to have redesigned Tails too, right?
It's so fucking good.
There's a fucked up version of Tails that we have
maybe
never
maybe
seen,
they
right?
didn't, like maybe they weren't even at like I don't know like it could have been so early because he's only met once and like it could have been so early when they switched over Sonic because he's the lowest priority.
I thought the movie was done though. Like
I think they were like almost done and like they had the trailer and people were like, oh, this is fucked up, and they like went back, but like. I wonder the Tails thing too, but like Tails low key looks incredible. Like that is fucking Tails from Big.
His voice acting was pretty good too.
Yeah, like it's like that is Tails, and that sounds like Tails.
Yeah,
like it was like that is fucking like because like Sonic looks great. Like I love the look of Sonic ultimately, but like Tails like that is literally the spin image of Tails, and I was like so impressed. Like holy shit. And yeah, so like Tails being in it, awesome. It's just an awesome moment for like anybody who's ever played a Sonic game. And then also Robotnik being trapped on the Mushroom Planet and like shaving his head and becoming really Eggman.
Yeah.
Was a great, just like again, Jim Carrey being totally crazy moment. That
probably one of the. I know it's at the like end, but like that's probably one of the better parts of the movie.
Yeah, it is really funny. Like it's the one that like made me laugh out loud. Was just like Jim Carrey in that moment, just being like, unless your man would have like. Broken, but I'll be home by Christmas, and just like him like hurling like the Rock Man around that's become his new like assistant, and like it's a dumb funny gag, but it works, and just does it again and again across like the Mushroom Planet.
I just like don't get with him, like I feel like there's so many scenes with him that like fall flat for me.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, but it's not, I feel like it's not his fault. I guess maybe it's just what he's saying or like what is written or what the context is.
Well, like, yeah.
But I feel like there's so many lines and things he has and he says that are supposed to be funny that it just falls like nowhere. So, but then you get to something like that and that's like probably one of the better parts of the movie.
Totally nails it. Yeah,
I don't know if this is like any reason why that might be for you, but for me, a lot of the reasons why many of his lines didn't work was because they were like 5% too mean for me. Like I was like, hey, I get it. Like he's the bad guy, but like I don't know if I'm just too sensitive or something. But like I was like, man, I feel like you're kind of crossing a line with like the kind of the things you're saying here. I like. Yeah, it was just like a pinch, just like 5% meaner than if
you'd written the
to those who don't know, I'm a filmmaking background. I have an interest in films, and so I do look at the way scenes are written, characters are written, and I was like, yeah, like he's the bad guy, but like man, like some of this stuff's kind of like, he's like going for the. What was it like?
He's going for the jugular. He's not messing around.
He's going for like the emotional hit.
Yeah,
like, he's not just going to like the. Yeah, for example, like one of the first instances where he comes on the scene, he's met, and you see this in the trailer. He meets like the sergeant or whatever.
The baseball field. That's when I was going to point out too.
And in the trailer, it's funny. He's like, how like I think you're basic. I outrank you. But when you actually see the real scene play out, he's like, he really starts belittling the guy and like nothing you've ever done will ever amount to anything. Like I was like, yo, man, like. I kind of want to go give that sergeant a hug and be like, hey, like, you know, it's cool. Just you know, you're good, you know.
It's really funny. That's the scene I was going to point out, too, where I think he's definitely, like, Robotnik is definitely an asshole in the movie. Like, it's like they didn't, like, mince words at all. Like, they made him just, like, absolute dick in the movie. I think usually I'm okay with, like, there are definitely instances, and in particular, I think the baseball field one where it is, like, basically literally the first time you ever see him in the entire movie is right then, and it's just like that's a hell of an introduction. Like that that to me is the scene that would feel more at home later on in the film, and not the first like full amount of dialogue that we're giving this character. And like, because even in the theater when that happened, it was like, fuck, this is a lot. Like, I was like, this guy's like in the like I listened and like in my seat I was like, this was like something that happens later on for this character. And they're just establishing immediately, like, nah, he's the bad guy, he's an asshole, and he's just kind of awful to, like, deal with. Like, even, like, the shit with, like, his assistant, which I thought was, like, mostly really funny. Every now and again, I was like, man, he's just, like, an absolute dick to his, like, assistant dude. And, like, it worked out every now and again. It was, like, that's a really funny line. And I think the, like, sequence of him, like, dancing around as he does, like, the, like, test on, like, the hair, and then he turns around, like, his assistant is, like, literally right behind him with, like, lattes. Mm-hmm. That was really funny. Like, I thought that, like, scene really worked, but, like, there are definitely instances of him being like, that's rough. Like, he's going for this kid right here.
That is, I think, like, probably, or I think it is a good scene, but, like, that's one of the ones where, like, the trailer that I saw for the movie has, like, all the best parts of it. Like, that, to me, this is, like, one of those movies. Like, if you go watch the trailer, all the parts where you're like, oh, except for, like, I guess the Mushroom Planet thing, but where you're like, oh, that's, like, the best part of this movie, it's all in the trailer. Like, the missile thing, that thing with the dancing and the latte, like, it's all, like, in there, and that's where I'm like, I feel like those are the best parts of the movie, but I feel like that's where this entire movie is just those moments spread out between just, like, nothing. Like, there's so many scenes with just, like, there's things happening and people talking, but, like, a lot of it's not, like, funny, or a lot of it doesn't, like, mean a ton. Like,
what didn't work for you think, the most in the movie? Your number one thing?
Oh, man, when he flosses. Like, when he dances and he flosses.
Yeah, I'm so out of touch that I almost thought for just a split second that you meant actual flossing.
Honestly, I did too. It was like, when did he floss in the movie? I was, like, trying to think, like, when did that happen?
It was so fast you couldn't see it.
So just to clarify for any other boomers out there like me, like, that the floss is a dance from a popular video game, and Sonic does the floss.
He does it twice.
Multiple times.
Yeah, he's out here every time he gets excited, and I'm like, and I get that one's like for the kids.
Yeah, but that's definitely a for the kids moment. Yeah,
there's a couple of the things in that movie that are like for the kids or whatever, and I'm like, oh wow, I can't wait to see how that holds up in like 5 minutes.
Sure,
like, but that's not like. There's just like a bunch of parts where I feel like they're like even like the whole bar scene. I feel like it ends in that really cool like Quicksilver-esque like slow motion thing, and I'm glad we got that because I think those are the best parts of the movie too. 100%. But the whole rest of that like bar scene is just like mostly just like nothing except for that part. Like, it's
weird. Like, I think so again, like, as a person who likes the movie the most, like, I think the movie's pace is pretty good for the most part. There are definitely times where it's like, this is a weird scene.
Yeah,
like,
it's like filler. It's like
and it's interesting in, like, because the movie I think is only like roughly around like 90 minutes to like an hour 40 maybe.
Yeah.
So it's not long by any means, but it's that thing of like you could have done without that entire like the only thing in that bar scene you need is A, the bucket list is brought up there, and B, it is the first feature of like that slow motion freeze frame thing. Which, to be fair, like the one in the bar in particular is like one of the best in the film. Like, it's because it's funny and it's just like when we see it, and it's like this is really fucking rad actually, and like him like literally jump back into his closed end of it is like such a great moment. But like everything in between the bucket list and that like freeze frame I'm Quicksilver moment is very degrees of like, okay.
Yeah.
It's just like this thing, okay, this is what we're going to do for like 5 minutes. And like, it is admitted that thing too, like, it spends a lot of time at that bar. And like, things like 5 or 6 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but in a movie that is 90 minutes long, they can take up more and more of a chunk of the thing, right? Like, it is a sequence that I think doesn't really work. But like, my biggest issue with the movie, maybe not my biggest issue with the movie, but like, an issue that I thought was like, that's a weird, is like when they're talking about like what's your number one bucket list item? James Marsden's character, I don't even know, Tom.
Yeah. Tom.
And not Tim, that's what Dennis calls him. And he was like, I want to be like a police officer in the Bay and like really make a difference and help people's lives. And Sonic is so offended that he would ever leave Green Hills. And I was like, this is a weird, like, I was like, all right, like, I get what you're going for, but like, this is strange. Because Sonic is leaving. So it's like, it's weird that he ends, and then it's like, all right, cool, like, this will end, and then we'll get back to it, and like, a little bit later on, we'll have like a big kind of emotional moment. That's not what happens. Instead, the fight with Robotnik starts, and Sonic is still upset about it. I'm like, this thing, I feel like this is like way bigger, like, and Tommy goes like, yo, like, we have like bigger fish to fry right now. And Sonic's like, all right, you're right, asshole. And it's like, what? This is like such a bizarre, like, you're going to be gone. You're literally going to leave, Sonic. And like,
yeah, he treats it strangely.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He takes it very personally.
It's a weird, like a really weird, and I was like, because when he had the face on, I was like, what's his reaction going to be? And like, what's he going to say? And then he had that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they like double and triple like downed on it so hard, where I was like, wow, they were really committed. Like, Sonic is very upset that he wants to chase his dream and do anything other than live in Green Hills. And like, I know that like it's because we have to go back to Green Hills at the end of the movie because that's like stage 1 of every Sonic game. But I was like, damn, this is like, we could have worded it differently maybe. And that was one for me where I was like watching. I was like, huh, that doesn't work like I think they want it to.
Yeah, I can see that.
Christian, what was your biggest issue with the movie?
So I wouldn't call this my biggest issue,
sure,
but it just felt really weird. Like, it just felt like, again, this isn't my biggest issue, but it was an issue that it's just what's first coming to my mind. But the whole dynamic between him and the sister-in-law.
Yeah, she's just trying to get them divorced. Like,
yeah,
I love that.
That was one of my favorite moments in the movie.
She was so funny.
It. She was
but
really
this
funny.
felt like it came from a different movie. This felt like
it was definitely random. It was so funny.
That was definitely from a rom-com.
Yeah,
that someone was
it was
writing
definitely a rom-com
that
they shoved into this movie.
Sonic.
100%.
But that's what I'm saying is that like I feel like. So it's a short movie, and they're filling it out with as much as they can, and they're using as many tropes as they can. They're using the bar scene, like the fish out of water, you know,
the tough biker bar.
Yeah,
these kids
so we're resorting to that, and then to have like the whole like, oh, the in-laws hate you, but they never talk about why.
Yeah. No reason.
So if he had started the movie not getting accepted, and so like, oh, that's his arc, is that he can never, that like people maybe don't believe in him, and it's hard for him to believe. If there was something like that, and it's like, oh yeah, then I would understand why the sister-in-law is like, oh, why did you get with someone who is, you know, no one sees their potential, this and that, but he got
the prodigal son.
He got a job in San Francisco.
Yeah. He's like the golden child of Green Hills. Everybody loves him. He's doing great there.
Why would you not? And so it didn't make any sense, and they just kept doing it like, hey, if we do this enough times, like, it's funny because we say it's funny. You know what I mean? Like, but everybody does have their own style of comedy, and for me, I just that didn't work with me. It felt too like we need to put something in here. You know what's funny? When the in-laws are, you know,
when she's giving him trouble. And,
yeah.
like,
for me, like, that's totally fair, and like, it is random because they give you literally zero explanation ever of why like his sister-in-law does not like him, but every single time she was on screen was a highlight for me. It was so like literally,
she was great.
Literally to the very end where it's like her like younger daughter be like, at least put my Fitbit on so I can get some walks in. It's like it was like so it's so funny like every time.
So yeah, when lines like that, so the daughter's running around. She's like, hey,
gotta go fast.
Yeah,
he's like running around the apartment.
Put my Fitbit on, and I'll at least get some steps. Like those kind of like almost. Like, if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss the lines. I think those were a bit funnier than the over-the-top, like...
Yeah.
It seemed like they were going for, if it's loud, it'll be funny.
Yeah, like when he eats 18 chili dogs in, like, 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Like... Yeah.
And, like, I think that's totally... And, like, I think definitely the movie goes for loud for the sake of loud at times. But it's, like, definitely, like, it's a kid movie, too, right? Like, it's kind of what they're... MO is for the most part unless you're like Pixar, but man, yeah, I like because I'm getting asked like, what are some of your favorite moments in the movie, and like for sure I'm gonna mention the sister-in-law, but like we ended with you being sad. At least your moment. What's your favorite moment from the movie? What's your favorite thing the movie did, Christian? You think?
I don't know. Not that there isn't. I'm just trying to replay the whole movie.
We played all again.
I'm trying to replay the whole thing. I'm gonna turn to y'all because
Frank, what do you think worked the best in the movie? What's your favorite thing from the movie?
There's a few moments that pop up to my head, but one of the ones I guess I would highlight is I love when there was the crazy dude who was like believed in Sonic.
Crazy Dave,
because like we're talking small town. Of course, there's a crazy dude that has like his own conspiracy theory that nobody believes, but it's basically that Sonic exists.
Yep.
But I love that his drawing of Sonic is like that meme drawing of Sonic, like the really really bad. Sonic drawing.
Yeah.
Like, he just holds it up in a diner full of people. Like, look, this is what's running around at night. Like,
it's very good. And, like, Crazy Dave in general, like, there's a moment at the end of the movie where, like, the town kind of rallies behind, like, Sonic and Tom.
I thought that was going to be, like, the Spider-Man 2 moment where they were like, you mess with one of us, you got to deal with all the Green Hill Zone. It was a little bit, too, like, because, like, Wade, like, the deputy sheriff, and then, like, Crazy Dave were there, and they're pretty much the only people from the town we knew. Yeah.
But, like, whenever Crazy Dave gets there and then literally pulls out a chainsaw, it was so funny to me. Like, it's just out of, because Wade's got, like, a gun because he's a deputy, and then he just pulls out a chainsaw, wiggles it around, and then Wade just pushes it away from him and goes, like, put it that way.
I thought he was way too close with the chainsaw, and then they pointed out. I was like, okay, cool, it wasn't just me.
Yeah, like, it was so funny. Just Crazy just happens to have a chainsaw. It's like, of course Crazy Dave has a chainsaw. That's what his, like, MO is. And then, like, after, like, Sonic saves the day and, like, Tom saves the day, like, they all start walking away, and Wade just goes, like, give me that chainsaw, by the way, Dave. Yeah. It's just, like, it's great, like, one-off line. It's, like, Crazy Dave in general, I fucks with Crazy Dave. Like, he's, like, a guy I'm down for.
The other things I really liked is, like, probably what I would probably pin it on overall is just, like, the adaptation of Sonic. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's so many forms I feel like that takes in the movie. But one of them that I loved is, like, the way he beats Robotnik is by bouncing on the ship and then, that was the bouncing first thing off and then railing back into it. Like, he does that move of, like, the spin dash kind of, like, into it. Like, so I was like, I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And, of course, there's all this stuff with, like, rings and all this other stuff. Like, I really like, that's what I think is, like, it's a really good adaptation.
This is the thing, like, that's probably my favorite thing, too, is that, like, it just incorporates Sonic and his mythology so well and, like, really clever ways. Like, it doesn't, like, really do it ham-fisted. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's something where it's, like, it does the rings in a cool way that, like, makes sense, right? And, like,
he loses them when he gets hit that one
time. Exactly.
Like,
he used all of the ground. And, like, the spin dash for Robotnik, which is, like, I immediately caught him. I was like, that's fucking so cool, right? And, like, the charge spin dash, like, finally beat him for good, right? And I think just Ben Schwartz's performance of Sonic and just Sonic in general, like, him being, like, impatient and impulsive and, like, tapping his feet at times, like, he's just, like, that's fucking, like, they nailed that character so well that I think it paid off to where, like, the rest of the movie works because they got the most important part right. Like, I think they just nailed the essence of Sonic, and they did so many small touches of, like, I like that from just, like, old classic Sonic games. I also think that we haven't really talked about, like, I think that, like, James Marsden and, like, Sonic together are, like, great. Like, I think, like, as someone who's seen a lot of, like, kids or, like, these kind of movies, like, buddy up situations, like, this one is one where it's like, this is one of the better ones. And, like, part of it is because, like, they didn't go super hardcore, like, cheesy emotional, I feel like. Like, they had their scenes in, but even that was very much, like, subdued by, like, kid movie standards. It was kind of like, yeah, like, you're my friend kind of thing. And that was it. And it's like, yeah, that's all we needed. And it worked. I think they're just, like, back and forth in general. Like, the fact that, like, even when Sonic was like, you're a fucking dick for leaving Green Hills, like, their fight lasted too long in that scene, but, like, after that it was pretty much done. Like, they didn't have, like, a major falling out, like, where they broke apart for forever. It was like, nah, like, we're done now. Like, it's...
Yeah, that's definitely...
We're moving it along pretty well. Like,
there's definitely another version of the movie where...
100%.
They decide they're tired of each other.
Yeah, they split off.
And then they both realize they miss each other. Mm-hmm. Actually, I know this is exactly how it's written. He finally realizes that he needs to go back, and Sonic does too, but by the time that Sonic figures out, Robotnik's captured him, and then James Marsden needs to, break him out of the lab or something like that. That's how that other movie went.
And I'm so glad we didn't get that movie, because that's, like, every, like, one of these kind of movies, and the fact that, like, they avoided, like, a buddy cop major falling out thing, I think made the movie just kind of go at a really good clip, so, like, it never, like, lagged because of it, and, like, also, James Marsden is just charming and funny, and, like, he's charming and funny in this. Like,
I'm glad he got, like, this is a pretty good movie for him.
Yeah.
He always gets the bad end of it.
Yeah, and, like,
in so many movies.
He got, like, a great, like, hero role, and, like, it really worked for me. I think, like, Marsden and Sonic together, and, like, I think for me, that kind of dynamic worked throughout the movie, and also, like, Tom's, like, wife is also, like, really funny and really cool, and, like, their chemistry and back and forth really works.
She's just, like, on board.
Which is, but, like, she has that whole scene of, like, I've been very calm, very chill, like, look how chill I've been, like, they fist bump, and it's, like, a really funny line, and, like, I don't know, like, I think it was funny, too, like, when the credits started rolling, it was, like, there's, like, 5 human characters in the movie, I feel like. But, like, they pretty much all work to me, where it's, like, Robotnik, Jim Carrey's great, and, like, Tom is great, and his wife is great, and Crazy Dave I'm here for.
Yeah, it's cool when you get to the end of the movie because, well, when I say the end of the movie, it's good when we return to Green Hills because by then we've gotten to know, like, all the people there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We even... What's his name? Wade?
Wade, yeah.
Wade starts off very one note kind of. Yeah. And he doesn't, like, super develop, but, like, you get these little hints, like, he's talking about, no, I've gone fishing with Tom. He would never, he can't. Yeah. Like, we get these little bites here and there that kind of do flesh out the town. Like, something as quick as even the quick montage of the baseball team. Like, there's a real community here. Like,
that was also great.
Which I'll just take 5 seconds to just say, I think that is probably my favorite moment. Is just establishing the world through Sonic's eyes. Yeah, seeing like how he perceives the town. Because when we see the trailers, I thought maybe he was kind of more of a recluse. Like he does keep to himself, but I thought he really, really stuck to that. I didn't know that there would be this whole dynamic of like this shadowy
donut lord, pretzel lady. Would get their own kind of name.
This whole observer kind of thing. I didn't know that he would be someone that. Like, you see in the trailer that he's got, like, like this cave where he keeps all his fun stuff. Mm-hmm. But I just assumed this was stuff that, like...
He stole.
This is... Well, yeah, but I figured this is his society. Mm-hmm. But it's cool to see that he does go and kind of create a fictional life, kind of, by watching the town people. I like that setup.
I think for me... The amount of time they spend in Green Hills before, like, the actual, like, movie kind of main thread starts is important in that, right? Like, they spend probably, like, the first 20 minutes of the movie is just, like, him in that town. Like, it's not really him in trouble with Jim Carrey. It's just, like, them watching...
Which I usually like slice of life kind of
Yeah, and, like, I think it worked here. Like, the thing, like, I could make the argument, I think, pretty easy that, like, the best 20 minutes of the film are up until... Tom and Sonic leave, basically. Mm. Like, the minute they leave Green Hill, I could argue everything before that is the best part of the movie. Because it just works. Like, it's so chilled, so simple. It's really funny still. They have their moments, and it's just kind of observing the world and, like, setting you in it. And you get the great, like, again, the baseball field scene is great both in terms of the kids playing the game, but then Sonic having his own game with himself, which is, like, the trailer showed... But getting to see the whole thing is still, like, really funny and still really clever. And then, like, the payoff that the trailer doesn't show, which is the fact that, like, it's when he gets kind of, like, emotionally broke, where it's like, I am just so alone. It's like him, like, running on the bases after he gets so angry.
In the trailer, it seemed like it was just going to be a bit like, look, isn't it how funny he can just play by himself? And then, oops, he went too fast.
It's actually, like, the biggest character moment, almost. Yeah,
like, they make you think that it's like, he was just so excited playing this game that he got carried away. But it was that he played the game, realized, he's alone, and... Yeah, just he got into his feelings, and that's what caused it all.
But yeah, it is. I really liked that a lot, and just Green Hills in general is just like a dope area with characters that like we'll probably see more of, I'd imagine, in the sequel.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
So that's what I would say.
Speaking of Green Hills, I half was guessing that when the movie is over and we're kind of seeing life return back to normal and everything. I kind of thought that we were going to see, like, Sonic, he's going to be, like, the deputy or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I kind of... He took Wade's job.
Wade's out of a job. That's what
I was kind of expecting, like, everybody, like, they weren't going with a thing of, like, again, I can totally... I see the multiverse.
Yeah.
There's only a version of this movie where it's just, like, the townspeople weren't there for the battle.
I love the, like, 4 different movies Christian's made now.
And then we just see, cut to the next day... There's, like, the local paper, like, strange activity, like, a blue blur, something like that.
They just ignored that completely.
But, they, like, where it's like, he has to live in the shadows again or something like that. But, no, like, this one's like, no, like, the whole community's there. They saw him, and they're, like, they're embraced with him. So that's why I was like, like, I would almost have, when they do, like, the aerial shot, we're kind of, like, establishing the town again. I was like, is he going to pull up? He's going to be, like, in the... And
there are patrol cars and everything.
Yeah, I kind of half expected
wearing a giant, like, cop hat.
Yeah. I wish that they had done it, like, the end of, like, A New Hope. Like, it's this big ceremony, and they're like, you are now deputy of the town, Sonic. Like, and you just have Sonic sitting there with, like, the hat on. Like,
I think, the end in general, like, I think really worked. Like, I think... Maybe my favorite thing of the movie, actually, like, aside from how they, like, actually nailed Sonic, which is why I think it is the best video game movie, is just the fact that, like, this is this is just a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog, but like they somehow managed to avoid, I feel like, so many traps in both the game genre from movies, but also like kid film cliches where it's like they didn't need to like over explain the end. It's just like, yeah, like the town was chill about it, and that's all. Like you don't worry about. I don't need to like a newspaper clip. It's just like, now, like just don't, like the town's chill. Yeah. Sonic's back in the attic. It's chill. And, like I didn't need a major falling out between him and Tom. I didn't need some like giant like second, third act like they're split up now. If, like Tom's got to go save him thing. It's like, now like this movie's bouncing along. It's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's gonna be like fun and chill, and like they still somehow managed to avoid quite a few different cliches, I think. And like they definitely like did other ones. They avoided like some ones that I particularly find annoying. It's like, yeah, like the movie's cleverer and better than it had any right to be when it first showed that first trailer a year ago. Like it's like the movie's actually better and like the movie's actually good. The movie's actually clever. The movie's not bad by any means, and it's like that's impressive.
The version of the movie I thought we were gonna get, this one was a lot better than that.
And that's 100% where I'd end on.
Yeah, those are just a few moments where I was. Yeah, like the only thing that I dock it for is that there were definitely moments where I was like, this is much cleverer than I thought it was gonna be. But then there were some moments where it kind of like went for some low-hanging fruit anyway.
It's exactly as clever you think it's going to be,
Where Sonic is just like farting or something.
Well, I was like, why? I was like, we had like a really cool moment here where he's like, they had the whole bucket list thing and they're wrapping things up, and he's like, if you can do it in here, then you're cool. And so he goes all crazy, and I was like, cool. Like they're kind of winding down, and then like we had a literal. When is the last time you heard a fart joke in a movie?
Yeah,
like it was probably a while ago.
Like why did like. We're beyond that. We're past that. Like
Sonic's getting it back.
They did it just to be like, oh yeah, it was a chili dog, which is a reference to the cartoon. But like, you could have just said like, hey, so what'd you really enjoy today? Oh, those chili dogs were super. Oh, I accidentally touched the table. Like he could have just said like, hey, those chili dogs are really good. Like they didn't have to. Like this is where the old grumpy side of me comes out. It's like, why do we have to have a fart joke? I don't know.
They had a fart joke. They did it. Sonic did it. What are final thoughts? Frank, final thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
I mean, I think I think you said a lot of what I was thinking there, where like it's pretty good. Like it's definitely not. I don't want to say it's like it's hard for me to just outright be like, oh, this is great. I recommend it to everybody. Yeah. But it is like it's not a bad movie. No. It's like it's also like. Besides the fact that it does like the cookie cutter family movie thing fairly well, and then it also really nails like adapting Sonic,
crazy,
which I'm kind of surprised by.
It makes me want to play like a Sonic game a little bit. I'm just like, I just want to play like Sonic Mania, the best Sonic game, but like.
It makes me want to revisit. I haven't
played
the
cartoon.
I haven't played a Sonic game since the GameCube.
And that's you should play Sonic.
I think that's the one game that I played actually. Like I grew up on mostly Nintendo, so I missed all the Sega stuff, but. Sonic Adventure 2 with all the Chow stuff. That's the one that's the only experience that I have with one. But I've seen that there's lots of new releases and stuff. So I've been thinking about like at least renting.
Do Sonic Mania if you do one. That's the best one.
Not to step away from my thoughts on this movie, but my pitch for how we start the next one.
Hell yeah, that's what I want to hear instead.
Let's just straight up rip the Sonic Adventure 2 start where he's in the airplane and he's been kidnapped because of the like shadows out there causing trouble, and they think it's Sonic. So then he just busts out the airplane and goes like skating down the streets of San Francisco.
Hey, that's awesome. I could have seen it been Shadow too, I guess, at the end.
Yeah,
that could have also been like
that. Now that I mention it, because they didn't tease Shadow, so we don't really have a thing for Shadow. But that would have been really cool.
That's something. Yeah, now you mentioned that.
But that, if anything, this could be Sonic 3 after they defeat Robotnik again. Robotnik goes and gets Shadow and is back again for trouble.
Sonic 1, 2, and 3.
So I was thinking what was going to happen was that the Agent Stone. I thought maybe he was
the real one or the
real
Agent Stone.
He was really attached to Robotnik, and I kind of, and we never got any closure with him.
So he just is gone.
I was anticipating that when the dust settled, like he was gonna find a ring and then maybe open up something to Knuckles.
Oh, okay.
And that he would be the one to be like, oh, I gotta go find Robotnik, and then he finds Knuckles.
I do think he is gonna. I think it's gonna be a thing where they're both like Robotnik is working to get back from his side, and I think he's gonna be working to get Robotnik from the other side.
Yeah.
Like I think that's gonna be what they're gonna try to do, and like the next
have Tails involved,
and then Tails will be there. Maybe Tails is how they get through because Tails has his own way to warp it through.
Yeah. Well, Sonic mentioned too that like. What was like more like advanced species planets, whatever. Teleport by like rings, kind of thing.
So I guess it's like other people do have these. Too, yeah. It's not just Sonic.
Yeah.
And then I could, like you said, I could see like the third one being like Shadow.
Yeah. That's where
I really want them to just
Sonic trilogy.
Do the San Francisco intro.
So
that sounds rad.
I have just animated with the same music. By the way, same music.
Okay. I have the perfect setup for it. Okay, so he spends all of 2 trying to get back, right? Mm-hmm. I assume Robotnik comes back. Knuckles is there, adventure. Robotnik gets beats again. But you saw in the Mushroom Kingdom, I call it Mushroom Kingdom.
That's what I kept thinking too. They're like the mushroom place over there. It sucks. Don't go there.
He still had the quill. Yeah. I'm assuming he keeps the quill all the way to the third movie, and then, from what I remember, Shadow is a clone, right? And so maybe he uses that quill to create the clone Shadow.
That's possible.
Isn't Shadow a clone? He's not another hedgehog, right?
I don't remember. I think he might be.
He's another hedgehog, but I can't remember if he's the same or if he's like,
Robotnik did a bunch of experiments on him, so he might just be a clone.
Like evil.
No, I think he is a clone, because I think there's other Shadows. I think part of his thing is when he figures out there's other Shadows, he's like, what the fuck do I do?
Know like,
the mythology of Sonic is actually like low-key wild.
It's pretty deep, and it's basically Dragon Ball Z.
Well, I know that there were... I didn't know he was a clone, but I know that he doesn't have his memory because of experiments.
Yeah.
So I was like, usually I associate that with clones. So I assume that with the quill, he'll be like, the only way I can beat Sonic is if I make my own Sonic. And so he makes Shadow, and that's the third movie.
But I am kind of interested, I guess, to see. I guess I am interested in these future movies, where they're going to go.
The Sonic trilogy.
What they're going to do. Like, they're definitely going to do this.
I didn't even think about it, but like, now that you and Christian each kind of brought up, like, I wonder if the constant references to like, the Mushroom World sucks kind of thing, where like a low-key joke and dig at
that's what I first
Mario.
thought. I didn't think it was.
I didn't even think about that until you guys just mentioned. But like, fuck, that'd be such a good, clever fuck this mushroom place. Yeah.
That's why I wish he was also like they only have mushrooms there, and I wish he was like and like toads. Like they only got like mushrooms and toads there. You don't want to go there.
That's all I got.
But it's basically like the first time there, he's like, it's just mushrooms. I didn't really get it, but they keep doing that, and it was like, I was like, is that like because it's like the Mushroom Kingdom?
Yeah.
For me, it was like the opposite. When they just say the one time, like for the first time, they was like, oh, that's Mushroom World. I was like, oh, okay, that's the Easter egg we get there. Like that Nintendo's out there, Sonic vs. Knuckles someday. But the more times they brought it up, I was like, oh wait, no, they can't just like, it probably is just probably a storyline thing.
I wish. It would be amazing if he throws up the ring and is like, that's the Mushroom World, and it was just like World 1-1,
Mushroom Kingdom,
full on Mushroom Kingdom with like the skies and like all that, like Goombas. I would be like, yes, and he's like, I don't want to go there. Please don't make me go there.
Let me make you this pitch for the end of Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Instead of Tails, what if the last of the film, like it's like spinning around, and it's just the red hat. It's just the hat of like, and it's just an M on it, and that's it. And it's like, fuck. Sonic Mario crossover is what's coming next.
They're going to the Olympics.
Mario versus Sonic. We got Batman v Superman. Time for the real match we've all been waiting for 30 years, right? Like that'd have been such a like genuine like oh fuck. If like they could have kept that secret where it's like Mario's gonna be the next one. What's gonna happen here, guys? Right? Like
I would be like just do the Mario movie. Let's just cut Sonic out. Let's just do the Mario movie.
Sonic is Superman, and then Mario's Batman. We just push out there as one movie.
I guess it'll never happen though, because Mario's getting made by Illumination.
I forget that every day of my life.
Yeah,
they could throw a crossover eventually. They could. I mean, Spider-Man can be in multiple universes. He can be. We can get another Mario movie, but like no, So final thoughts where we're at.
I think like my only last thing on it is like it is also like competently made, like, and I'm sure the redesign helps.
It's a very
it's better than I thought it was gonna be.
Like, but there's no points where I'm like, oh, this is like bad again. Like there's nothing where I'm like, this is bad. There's parts where I'm like, this isn't funny. Or this isn't whatever. They could have even cut this, or this is filler. But there's nothing where I'm just like, oh, this is terrible, or like, oh, this should have just been completely redone. Like,
Christian, final thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's ever on TV, I'll watch it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel it very much was like that kind of movie,
The only reason why I'd be curious, we haven't seen a Nintendo, or when I say Nintendo, we haven't seen a CG video game character brought to life in the real world like this before. So that has me just curious enough to maybe get the Blu-ray so I can check out the features and stuff like that. But, because, I'm sure there's going to be, like, a whole bunch of featurettes about, like,
I'm sure,
designing and then, like, the
redesign,
and everything like that. Which, by the way, before we log off, man, like, I cannot help but wonder now the whole... I never bought into the conspiracy theory. Are y'all familiar with the conspiracy theory?
I think so.
That they purposely made the bad design as a marketing thing. That it was, or that this design here was always the original intent. that the first trailer was fake. That they didn't like that was never going to be the actual design, and I never bought into it because I was like, that's dumb. Like, why would you purposely shoot yourself in the foot just to be like, haha, tricky. We really have a good design after all. Like, but seeing how many quote unquote Sonic type characters that were in this movie, like at the very beginning when you see all those like
I think they were echidnas, like
they look like echidnas, but like you know how but they definitely had the design, like they had the template, like the really big eyes and stuff, and I was and the like the fact that we got Tails, like the fact we got all these character types in the Sonic style, I was like, I don't know if I could imagine them getting just Sonic wrong. Like, okay, we fucked up. We didn't know. We thought we'd go realistic. But I don't know if I could imagine a version where all those were also along. Like, I can't imagine that they would look at. Like, does that make sense?
No, but I think it's not, because I don't think it was like a mistake. I think that was the style they chose to go with for Sonic. Like, I think there was like a board where there's like 5 designs of Sonic, and one of them is this one, and one of them is the other one they had, and probably some other ones they didn't go with. And someone was like, that one. But then I feel like when you go with like, this is the art style we're gonna go with, it all like rolls together. So the only thing I can't, like, I'm totally with you where it's so hard to imagine, like, so you had to redesign like 50 characters. They had to but I think they really did. I think they redid all of the scenes where he's like off world, because if you pull up the original trailer, when they show him where the planet he comes from, and then they show you the redesign, it's different places.
They changed. Oh, really?
Yeah. Go back and watch it, because you know when he shows you like, this is my home, and it looks like Green Hill Zone. It doesn't look like that in the first trailer. He's like, this is my home, and there's like a bunch of sand and shit. I think I really think they scrapped all those scenes and just redid it with like new art style.
That's the main reason why I copped the Blu-ray. But it did a lot right. But I'm more likely to just enjoy the memory of this movie until the second movie comes out, which I'm sure we'll definitely get.
I think for myself, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. It's Sonic being Sonic, which I always enjoy.
Oh man, go ahead.
No. Like I just think too that like I genuinely think that like there's gonna be an Assassin's Creed thing where it's like I feel like the second one they could nail the tone even more and like make it where like Sonic 2, like in video games, is even better than Sonic 1 kind of thing, and like really kind of begin to like get a handle on things. Like they don't have to establish that world anymore. They don't have to establish Robotnik anymore. They don't have to establish Sonic even. Like, we know that they can like handle this character and handle the kind of who he is and the nuances of him. It's like, cool, now we can just kind of hit the ground running, literally, probably, and just have like a really fun, great sequel that they maybe kind of weed out the moments of comedy that didn't necessarily work and double down on more of the ones that did. It's like, I think like Sonic 2 could actually be even better, but I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a good movie. My reviews, it's a 7 out of 10. It's good. And so, I don't know. Sonic is alright, guys. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know we're winding down, but in this terms of this sequel talk, I almost would...
Tell me what you want.
When you're talking about dropping some stuff and adding some more, I wouldn't... And this is nothing against him, but I wouldn't even mind if we just dropped James Marsden and it's just Sonic and Tails.
I don't know.
I know animation is expensive, especially when we're redoing it. But like, I just like, if we scale back on like some of the human characters and it's a lot more of like Sonic v Robotnik, I think that would almost make for like a stronger second movie. Now I feel like in the first one maybe we needed a little bit more humans to help set things up and bring things in, but like what you're talking about is they set everything up. Now let's just roll forward with Sonic and Tails versus Robotnik.
It was interesting for me when we got to the end of the movie. It was like, man, I'm at two places a little bit, because like I actually really love the end of the movie, and I'm just like, cool, if this is a single standalone this is it Sonic movie, I love that ending. It's a great, like, really nice ending for like that character, and also for James Marsden's character, and also for like that whole family with like that trio. That's a great ending for them. But like, if they do decide to do sequels, which they're going to, like, it's one for me where it's like, I don't know what I want more out of him. Like, I think he'll be in the second one.
Probably.
I wonder if it's just a thing of like he's in the first like 5 to 10 minutes, and then he's in the last 5 to 10 minutes, and then Sonic's like on the adventure, everything between.
That's what I'm hoping.
Like I don't know, but like I liked him a lot. Again, like I think the ending they give us in this movie, I really liked. Like I think it really worked for me. Is like that's an effective way to kind of close this story and like potentially have it be like a like bookend. Like if they don't do any more sequels, that's an effective ending. It's not like super cliffhanger. It's just like cool. That's a good ending for them. But if they do more, if they do a Sonic 2 and 3, it's like, how much do you involve Tom? Like, how much do you involve, like, Green Hill's Earth side of things? And, like, I don't know, like, I could see, I'm in two places where, like, I could see Sonic 2 being set almost legitimately, like, entirely around Green Hills. Like, it's like Tails is there, and it's, like, on Green Hills, and, like, Tom is super involved. And it's, like, very much kind of like this. And, like, Robotnik comes back and, like, they're just all fighting in Green Hills and doing shit. And, like, moving around eventually, like, it's very focused on Green Hills still.
It's like the first Thor. It's like this
kind
small
of,
town.
Yeah, I think I could very much see it being, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it could also be in the movie that you're pitching where it is, like, they're in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Robotnik comes back or, like, Stone does something where, like, everybody gets teleported, basically. And then Tom gets left behind. And now it's Sonic and Tails in the Mushroom World or in, like...
Even when
the mechanical zone, there's like any other kind of zones, kind of thing.
Because there's like the dangerous world that she said, like, don't go to these, but they could end up there.
Exactly.
And it could be like
doing that, and that's like the whole movie is doing that kind of shit. And then eventually he gets brought back to Tom and Green Hills in the last like 10-15 minutes to have their moment there. Like, I could see it being either one of those kind of movies. I don't know which one I'd like more right now. Like, I've had an hour to think about it, but like, I am curious to see, what direction they go in terms of Tom's character going forward, because I think he was definitely needed for like the introductory, like bringing us into the world, and I think he did a really good job with that. But like,
I don't think we need any more.
Do we double down with that? And be like, he's a major part of like this like trilogy of films, or we're like, cool, I'm going to kind of like phase back a little bit.
And I will be curious to see where they go, like you were saying, and I think for me, like my preference would be the second one of like, let's go. I'm not even saying get him out of it completely, but just give him a couple minutes to be there, and he's off doing his own thing with the town and his family, and then there will be like, all right, like let's go off-world, and I do definitely want them to go like off-world and just go on an adventure, and even if it is just in a different world, but it would be really cool to see almost like a Sonic setup style thing where you just go through a bunch of different worlds, and then he ends up just beating Robotnik and then like ending the adventure. Could you imagine going to like the casino zone?
That's what I was thinking.
But it's just Sonic and Tails just get spit out into this like fucking Atlantic City style thing.
I wondered too if like that's kind of what Sonic 2 is, and Sonic 3 is the Shadow game, and it is much more of like around a single location. Like Sonic 2 is him like bounce on like all the different zones and like finally beating Robotnik, and like they beat Robotnik for good if they travel across the casino zone, the mechanical zone, like your oil zone, all these different kind of things. And it's like a very much like a Sonic Mania kind of highlight reel thing. And then Sonic 3, like the trilogy end cap, quote unquote, would be, like, it's much more narrow focused, and it's him against Shadow doing their thing. And it's much more of like them kind of doing that final thing. Like, I'm like, in my vision of that too, Robotnik isn't in that movie until like the final act. Like, he's like actually like gone after Sonic 2, whatever happens there, and like we don't see him for 2/3 of the movie.
It's like Palpatine.
It's just straight up like Shadow's the bad guy kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like in the final act, like Robotnik pops up again for like the last kind of confrontation. It's like fuck, he's been pulling the strings the entire time kind of thing. And like I think that'd be a really cool way to do that, and like introduce Shadow and also have like Robotnik kind of take a moment to just like chill out for a bit.
And then as Shadow and Sonic are fighting in space, we get that shot from Green Hill Zone of James Marsden and his family, like looking up at the skies. These gold dudes just fight each other.
Yeah, and then it ends. Sonic is back in their basement, like we're back in the attic one last time, like again at the very end of like Sonic 3.
Yeah,
and it's like
with Tails or whoever.
Yeah, with Tails and like with the whole crew, whoever's collected there, like Knuckles maybe.
Big is like wiring a fishing pole.
Exactly, right? And it's like the whole family kind of there, and it's like it's a callback to this movie's, and in Sonic 1's ending, but with like the Hulks and like Sonic gang now in the house. That boom. We've just written the entire Sonic trilogy here, guys. You're welcome for that. And on that note, I think there's no better way to end, because we've just done it. We've done the jobs for them. That's a great... I want to just like workshop that as a pitch now. Me and Frank just like make that into a written feature. Just like, here is the Sonic trilogy. done for you guys.
I mean, I like it. I like where we're going with it.
We're definitely talking something about this. That's a really fun idea. Just like as a funny feature.
I know we've gone long, so I don't want to drag it out, but I do want to give a shout out to the Fast and the Furious reference.
Absolutely.
In this movie.
Again, there definitely we can build off that.
Yeah, because he also says too, he's like, it's about family.
It's about family.
Instead of Dom, he's like Tom. Like,
yeah,
I was like, that was the best part.
It's so good. It's so funny. And so that's it, though. We made it. Made it through our Sonic Spoilercast, the first ever Spoilercast for a movie, I believe. Take it with a grain of salt. On that nerdy site. Not the last. We will do way more of these going forward because that was really fun.
Yeah.
So that wraps up this episode. Thank you for joining me. Let's go around the table with some plugs. Christian, where can all of the kids find you on the interwebs?
I'm on Twitter. You can find me at PixelBrave. I've also got an anime podcast with that nerdy site. You can find that also
That
on
Anime
Twitter.
Pod?
At That Anime Pod, yeah.
Who is on the last episode of that?
I had my first guest, Tortilla Senpai, and we talked about the My Hero Academia overhaul arc.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, there should be... That's the new norm, is I should be having guests, and I haven't reached out to the next guest, but I guess if you want to find out who that'll be, I'll announce that we can submit questions and stuff like that. You can just follow me on Twitter.
Awesome. Very good. Frank, where can they find you on the internet?
I'm on every platform at Irrelevant Jokes, and right now I'm still just working on some video stuff for our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Got delayed a little bit, but some new stuff should be coming up pretty soon, and that's just youtube.com/thatnerdysite. Got that hot new URL.
That hot new URL. Frank is a godsend. He's a big part of us getting into that URL on YouTube with all of his videos. Please go check out, for the love of God, go check out his Ultimate Chicken Horse video. It remains maybe one of my favorite things we've ever done on the site. It was so much fun to record, and it's a very good video. Frank. You can find me at Lefty Logie on all things on the internet. Go check out that anime pod, please, for Christian. It's really, really good. Go check out the Ultimate Chicken Horse video for Frank, for myself. Hello. I like Survivor. Survivor Season 40 started this past week, I guess when you're hearing this, because it goes live next week as a recording. And I will have a written recap of episode 1 of Season 40, all winter season of Survivor. By the time you are listening to this, that first episode recap will have gone live. Going forward, it'll be recaps by me and one Jazz Foster. So please be excited about that. Please go read that article. You can also go check out the new season of that Ultimate Video Game List show coming very soon. I think it's going to start dropping soon. I think.
It started going.
Is the first episode out now? You can check out the first episode.
We're coming up on episode 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, I know they're filming a lot of those back to back. They're banking a lot of those, so go check that out. And then a big thing I will say for all three of us here is that within a week and a half of when you are listening to this, myself, Frank, and Christian will all be landing in Boston, Massachusetts for PAX East. So be excited for that. We are all literally on the same flight together to Boston, and me and Christian are on the same flight back. It's going to be a ton of fun. Ourselves, along with Trevor and Cam, are all going to be camped out in Boston. We're going to be cold. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to have a great time in one of my favorite kind of events, probably my favorite event of the year, actually. And I believe it is Frank's first time there.
No, it's my second.
Second time there. First one was media. I got you on that one.
That one.
And it'll be the first kind of big showing for That Nerdy in general at any sort of site and event. The whole big kind of crew is going to be there. It's going to be a ton of fun. There's going to be a lot of great content, a lot of great previews, appointments. We are already getting the waves of them. I have 50 unread ones to read. I'm going to do that tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Please look forward to all that content. We're going to give you a lot of it. I can assure you. A lot of videos coming from Frank and Christian to look forward to, as well as a podcast galore. And that is all stuff you can be excited for. You can also be excited for the Untitled, totally everything video game news show that will be coming, that I'll be hosting. We hit that Patreon goal, so I will be launching that. My tentative timeline is maybe like right around PAX East, maybe like a week after the launch first episode. Still kind of nailing ducks in the road. I will talk to probably Frank more about that whenever we are off air. But yeah, a lot of big things are coming for That Nerdy. We're continuing to smash Patreon goals thank you so much for that. Again, you can go to patreon.com/thatnerdysite to be a patron. We appreciate all the support, all of the everythings, the love, the generous, the hugs that you give us all. Please go again to iTunes, give us 5 stars, let us know how you feel, what you like, what you don't like, and if you don't like anything, you can go send that feedback to OKBeast, give them 1 star, give them the negative feedback you have on us, and Alex Van Aken and Ian Preschel will be sure to pass it on to us, so please go do that. And yeah, just be great. I believe that is everything Shura has given me to say. You can follow all of us at That Nerdy Site on Twitter and Instagram, I believe. Mm-hmm. Check that out. Check out YouTube as well. We're going to do fun things there. Me and Frank have, again, Let's Plays ideas to keep track of and to do very soon. There will also be a shit ton of video content on that YouTube page after PAX East and during PAX East, so please stay focused on that as well. And thanks for listening. Stay nerdy and be good to each other, as Trevor Starkey says.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
There you go.